Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Our today's session is about the presentation skills or how to present in an effective manner. So in today's session we will discuss that if you are going to present in front of the class, in front of the audience, in front of your teacher or in front of a group, what skills should be there to make your presentation an effective one, or what are the things that make your presentation an effective one, or when you are presenting, teachers or the students listen to you. So what are the reasons that why should people listen to you? So in today's presentation we are going to have an overview of it. So keep in mind very important thing that whenever you start working on your presentation, you must prepare your outline. This is something that we have been discussing in many classes, that whenever you have to write anything, you have to write an email, you have to write a letter, you have to write a memorandum, or you have to write a paragraph or anything else, you must prepare an outline. Because when your preparation is there, your outline is there, your planning is there, you know that which map you are going to follow. If you are not going to follow a map, definitely you will be lost somewhere. So it is very important to plan before you start actually presenting something. So planning is very important. Then you need to know about the structure of your presentation. Again, this is something that we do talk about, that whenever you write something, letter, email, memorandum, paragraph or an essay, there has to be a proper introduction, body, and then the conclusion of it. Then when you are presenting in front of the audience, your body language plays a very important or significant role in making you understandable, and it does talk about many things that you are not actually talking about. So I'll try to share a sample presentation with you, and then I would ask you to observe the presentation and give your opinion on that, and definitely we are going to conclude it as well. So when you are planning, what should you plan? Sometimes we say that if you fail to plan, it means you have planned to fail. So it is very important. If you fail to plan, it means you have planned to fail. But if you succeed in planning your document, if you succeed in planning your presentation, if you succeed in planning anything that you are going to work on, it means you have made your mind that definitely you are going to make it, you are going to win whatever you are working on. So when you start planning your presentation, you have to keep in mind the 5 W's that we have been talking about and an H. So how these W's are going to help you in your planning? Let's see. So most of the times we do ask the questions from others, but when you are planning your presentation, when you are aiming to present something, you have to ask a few questions to yourself. For example, what is the aim of my presentation? This is very important, because if teacher assigns you a topic to present on, this is not for the sake of formality only. Rather, you have to think that why am I presenting on this particular topic? So what is my objective? What is my aim? For example, when I started working on this particular presentation, my aim was to deliver some knowledge that I have to my students, so that they may know that how they have to present in front of the audience. So my aim is to let you know how to present in front of the audience, and what are the things which make a presentation a successful one, or what are the things that make your presentation a flawed one. Then I have to think that what is the topic of my presentation. Then I have to think about who am I speaking to, who is my audience. This is extremely important, because if you don't know who is your audience, you won't be able to prepare, or you won't be able to work on your presentation. Because if I am going to present this particular presentation for the beginners, my style would be different, my content would be different, my delivery would be different. But if I have to present the strategies of effective presentation for my 7th semester students or my 6th semester students, definitely I have to work on many other things as well, instead of just focusing on the basics of it. If I am going to present my topic, my project in front of the people who are already well familiar with the things around, already familiar with the things that I'm going to speak on, definitely I have to raise my level. I do not have to start with with the definitions, etc. Rather, I have to talk about some advanced level things. But again, if I'm talking to the beginners, I have to start with the definitions and then so on. So your audience is very important. Remember that most of the times I do say that the purpose of your presentation or the purpose of your document should not be to impress your audience, rather to express yourselves. If you fail to express whatever you want to say, it means your audience might feel impressed with your words, with your delivery, with your style, but there is the possibility that your audience would be lost in all your style but won't be able to get any idea. So your focus should be on expressing yourself rather to simply impress the audience. Then what are the main points that I want to make and how to convince the audience of my point of view? Again, these all points are interrelated. If you do not relate all these points with each other, there is the possibility you won't be able to make an effective presentation. So your audience is very important. You can see that probably your topic, your selection of topic, your aims and objectives, and your all the points do move around your audience. So your audience is the one who is going to decide your topic, who is going to decide your objectives, and then the audience is going to tell you that how they would be convinced with your point of view. So let's see what do we have here. So the last thing is, what do I want my listeners to do after this presentation? For example, again, this is my objective, this is my aim, that when I was working on this presentation, my aim was, my objective was, or I wanted my students to present better than the idea that I am going to give them. Then how should you start your presentation? Always start with greeting your audience, because definitely when you come in front of the audience, you need to some time to prepare yourselves. If this is your first presentation ever, you might be you might face stage fright, you might lose confidence, you might be afraid of the audience, you might be afraid of the teacher, or so many other factors would be there. So try to give some time to yourself, look around, make an idea of your place where you are standing and who are the people who are around you. So start with the greetings. Don't forget to take little pauses so that you keep encouraging yourself, and you keep what should I call this, motivating yourself, and then collecting your courage, that how you have to present in front of the audience. So greet your audience, then give your brief introduction, who you are and what is the topic of your presentation and what you are going to talk about. So this is very important. Then once you are done with your introduction, you have to give a brief overview of your presentation. For example, when I started my presentation, I tried to give you an overview that what is something that we are going to talk about and what is the significance of it. Similarly, give an overview of your presentation to your audience so that they may know what they are going to listen. Ji. So once you are done with your brief introduction and your brief introduction of your presentation, now you have to move on to discussion or the main body of your presentation. So content is very important. Whenever you are working on your presentation, you have to keep in mind that you have to keep less on the slides and you have to keep more in your mind. So if what would happen, why am I saying that there should be less content on the slides? Why should you speak more? Because if you have a lot of things for the audience to read, they would keep reading from your slides and they won't be listening to you. Then if you have a lot of content on your slides, they would definitely be reading, because there is the possibility that they would be interested in reading more than listening to you. So what you have to do is you have to keep less content on your slides and there should be more that you have to explain at your own. So what would happen, there is another advantage of it, that when you are talking to your audience, you will be maintaining more eye contact, you will be talking to your audience. But if you are reading from the slides, it means there is the possibility that you will not even be looking at your audience. You will be focusing on your reading only. So either you will be reading from your slides or your audience will be reading from your slides. There won't be any eye contact, there won't be any interaction between you and your audience. So it is very important to keep less content on the on slides, so that you may speak to your audience directly. Then again, the quantity is very important. So the quality of the content and the quantity of the content, both are very important. From quality, I have already talked about the quantity. From quality, I mean that there should be authentic material in your slides, there should be more information in your slides, there should be something that your audience doesn't know. So if you are going to talk about the things that your audience is already well familiar with, again you will be losing you won't be able to get the attention of your audience, you will be losing their attention. So again, it is very important to keep or maintain the attention of your audience, and this is only possible when you are talking to them, when you are communicating to them, when you are not reading from your slides. So it is very important. Then again, there is another thing, that is sequencing your ideas. When you are speaking to your audience, when you are working on your slides, keeping in mind one thing, that your slides or your content should move in a flow. You cannot talk about east in one step and you cannot move on to the west in another point. You cannot keep moving towards north and south and so on. Rather, there should be a sequence in your slides, there should be a sequence in your ideas, and then you have to keep all these things going in a flow. Then signposting and signaling is very important. It does happen that when you have some data in your slides, when you have some graph, when you have some tables in your slides, and you think that if you don't point towards your slides, there is the possibility that your audience won't be able to understand what actually you are trying to say. So it is very important at one point to keep to maintain your eye contact with your audience, and at the same time keep pointing on the slide that this is the table that I am going to explain, this is the table, these are the figures that I am talking about. So keep moving towards your slides as well as your audience. Then it is also helpful, as I have just said, to add the visual aids, tables, graphs, or any relevant emojis. Then when you are going to conclude, again let me conclude whatever I have said. I told you in the beginning that how is it important to build the rapport with your audience, how is it important to start with your brief introduction, how is it important to give brief overview of your presentation to your audience. After giving a brief overview, definitely you will start your presentation, and then again in the end is it very important to remind your audience whatever you have already said. So remind them whatever you have already said, conclude well, thank your audience, and then invite for the questions. So this is the basic structure of your presentation. So when I gave you the brief introduction of my presentation, my next point was the body language. I told you in the beginning that I will speak about the basic presentation skills, and I will also talk about the importance of body language. Why is it important to talk about body language? Because most of our gestures, most of our posture, most of our facial expressions are not in our control. So what happens? We do believe that your body speaks even when you are quiet. There is the possibility you might be sitting alone, you might not be talking to anyone, and your friend would come to you and say, "What's wrong with you?" And you would say nothing. But your friend may say that your body speaks what you are not telling me, or your facial expressions are telling me a different story. It also happens with us that when you are trying to lie, and the other person may say your words are saying or your words are telling one story, however your body language is giving me another side of the story, or your facial expressions are telling me something more about it. So it is very important to talk about body language as well. So what includes in your body language? Your body language includes appearance, facial expressions, eye contact, posture and movement, gestures, voice and vocal quality, and the non-words. So we will talk about all these things deeply. Appearance. Yes, I always say that it is very important to look at yourself before you come for the presentation, because your planning, your preparation does not only include working on your slides, but it also includes the preparation or the planning of what you are wearing for the presentation. How would you look like for your presentation day? Because the way you are dressing up, people are going to perceive you in the same way. So it is very important to know about your dressing. Then again, focus on your haircut also. I always say that you should not think about wearing three-piece suit for the boys, because this is your presentation. You are not supposed, you should not think about wearing pant, coat and tie and so on for your class presentation at least. But for your formal presentation, definitely you would be working on that, but you should look formal. Same is the way, same is the case with the girls. Do not overdo with your hair, do not overdo with your makeup, or do not overdo with anything, because once you overdo with all these things, people won't be able to understand whatever you are trying to say, because they would be more focusing on your looks, your appearance, rather than your words. So okay, then comes your facial expressions. You can see all these facial expressions and you can notice that these are the faces that you make intentionally or unintentionally when you are sitting in the class, when you are talking to the people or anything else. But what is the advantage of these facial expressions? What do they tell us? Our facial expressions are basically the means that depict our emotions, our feelings. So when you are happy, when you are sad, when you are afraid of something, when you are angry, when you are feeling bored, when you are feeling nervous or anything else, your facial expressions talk about all these things. So when you are not speaking, even then your facial expressions do tell about your emotions and the things that you are going to hide. So again, facial expressions are very important while you are presenting or you are listening to your speaker. Then your eye contact is very important. In one of my previous slides, I said that you have to maintain your eye contact with the audience, and you should not read from the slides only, because once you start reading from the slides, you lose the eye contact with the audience. So when you are talking to the people, make them feel that you are actually talking to them. If you are reading, it means your back would be towards your audience because you are looking towards your slides, you are focusing on your content that you have written. It means you are not maintaining eye contact with the audience. So if you are not talking to the people, why would people listen to you? So in order to maintain the interest in the audience, in order to gain attention of your audience, you need to maintain eye contact with them. Sometimes it does happen that when you are presenting in the class, out of nervousness, the presenter starts staring, not only looking but staring at one of the students. And that student feels nervous that why the presenter is looking at me only. Or sometimes the students just take one corner of the wall and they keep looking at that wall and they present their whole content. So what happens? People again don't know if you are talking to them or you are talking to the walls. So it is very important to maintain eye contact with the audience. Then what is your eye dart? Remember, though, this is something which depends on the context, which depends on the culture, that how people perceive all this body language. But in our culture, we think that when people are not maintaining eye contact with others, they might be feeling nervous or they are regretting on something. So but again, in other cultures it might not be the case. So if you are not looking at the people, there is the possibility that you are feeling nervous, because sometimes the presenters keep looking at the floor and they are not maintaining eye contact with the audience. So it may be perceived as that you are feeling nervous and you are not talking to the people. So something more about body language. Let's talk about the posture and the movement. Again, this is very important, how you are standing in front of the audience. Because sometimes you might have noticed, I'm not sure because of the lockdown, if you have noticed the people, how do they stand in front of the audience? You might have noticed that sometimes people, when they come for the presentation, they don't stand straight. They do not stand at their own, rather they try to take the support of something to stand on. Either they are leaning towards the wall, or they are leaning towards the rostrum, or they are trying to hide themselves behind the rostrum. Or there is the possibility, you might have noticed the people who keep moving their body weight on one leg or to the other leg. So these are again different types of posture, the way people stand in front of you. So the way you are standing, it shows your confidence, it shows your self-esteem. So if you are standing in front of the audience without any support, it means you are quite confident and ready to speak to the audience. We do recommend to move towards your audience, move towards the audience, and sometimes you should move towards the board or your slides, so that keep moving, you keep gaining the attention of the audience. You should move your hands also, you should use your hands also to describe something or to make people understand something. But again, overdo of this movement is also distracting for the audience. If you are in habit of using your hands more than your words, it means people would be distracted, they would be lost somewhere with your hands movement rather than your words. So it is very important to uh, keep your audience engaged with whatever you are trying to say. Yes, gestures are important, because there are so many things that you don't want to say or you cannot say, and you just try to say whatever you want to say with your gestures. But again, overdoing is something that is distracting, and overdoing is something that keeps your audience away from your basic point of view. um, Let me speak a little about the voice and the vocal variety also. um, you might have noticed, like, I speak very fast, although I try my best sometimes, not always, but sometimes, to speak in less volume, or sometimes I try to speak with less speed, but these are the things that are not in my control, but I can at least try. So whenever you are presenting in front of the audience, do think about your pitch, your speed, your vocal quality, your volume, and your pronunciation also. You might have noticed that I have written the word pronunciation only. I'm not focusing on accent, because accent is something that is developed from your childhood. Although I have seen many people who work very hard to change their accent, but remember that if you are working on your accent, you have to adopt any particular accent completely. We cannot say that half of your words are pronounced with American pronunciation, half of your words are pronounced with British accent, and rest of your speech is in Pakistani English accent. So you have to stick to one accent only. If you are thinking about changing your accent, rehearse it, practice it, try to gain confidence in speaking in the other accent, and then expose yourself to the audience. Do not come with unprepared, unrehearsed new accent, because definitely that would be something adha teeter adha bater. You are not focusing on one thing only, and you are not confident, and you are not good at one accent only. So try to focus on that also. So other than your pronunciation, accent, your gestures, and so many other things, there are a few things now I'm going to speak about. They are the barriers of communication. You might have noticed that there are many people, when they are talking to your audience, they use these non words. For example, there are people who are in habit of using the word after every sentence, or before starting a sentence they would start with you know what happened yesterday, you know what happened when I was moving towards the class. So if you are saying you know, what comes to my mind is that if you think I already know, why are you telling me about the same thing? So you know is a non-word. Non-word is something that does not add meaning to your sentences. Then if I talk about myself, I am in habit of using these yes, these are again non-words. Sometimes it may distract your audience. I also use the word okay a lot, but again these are the non-words, and if you are using them frequently, these may distract your audience. So instead of using these non-words, you can add pauses in your speech, you can add pauses in your presentation. But again, remember that if you overdo with these pauses, people may think that you are translating your ideas, or you are lost with the ideas, or you have less content to speak on. So keep yourself quite moderate, at a moderate level, and keep. So, just a quick recap that whatever I have just talked about, I started with the presentation skills, how you have to plan your presentation, how you have to prepare your presentation, and then how you have to present it in front of the audience. Then I talked about the body language, I talked about facial expressions, gestures, movement, your appearance, your hairstyle, and so many other things. Lastly, I ended up with the non-words. Non-words are the words or the sounds, exactly, not exactly the words, but they are sounds also, like so these are all non-words which do not add meaning to your sentences, but they are just little pauses that we give to ourselves. They are not exactly pauses. So these are the things which sometimes become a barrier to your effective communication and effective presentation. And but at the same time, sometimes they support you. They are not going to help your audience, but sometimes they do support you. So this is all that I have talked about in my today's introduction to presentation skills. So concluding my own presentation, the things that I have talked about, that your presentation should be well planned, they should be well structured, it should be well prepared, well rehearsed, and then it should be well presented. So that's all from today's session. I hope the introduction is clear to you, and now I believe you would be able to prepare yourselves for an effective presentation. So that's end from today's session. Have a very good day.